Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday and it's Heather, and I am making a quick recording now as very shortly I'm on my way to donate blood. And yesterday, we all went out to the advanced polls in HRM and we voted. And these two things together have got me thinking a little bit about being a good citizen and the difference between being a good citizen and being a good Christian. When I was a kid, I learned that these were the same thing, that we lived in a Christian nation, and so therefore the values of Christianity were the same as the values of the community, and it was our responsibility to obey the civil authorities who could be presumed to be Christians as well. And these two things were kind of so intricately linked that it was hard to separate them. But we're living in a world now today that some people have described as post-Christendom, meaning we can't depend anymore on the fact that our community members are Christians. And there's been a wonderful opening up of diversity of various kinds of belief systems, and we as Christians have become more aware of the things that our friends and neighbors believe that are different faiths from our own. And in the United Church, we celebrate that diversity. We understand that, at least I understand, that all faiths are reaching to a deeper and higher truth that is bigger than even the boundaries of any one religion can hold. And so therefore, while I keep strong to my faith and consider myself a proud Christian, I'm also open to learning about understandings of faith from other people. So that's Christianity and faith. But how is that different from being a good citizen? And I think my answer is sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. So if I'm thinking about something like going to donate blood, that's an act I do as a love and care for my fellow human being. I don't know where the blood goes. It doesn't really matter to me. It's a matter of being aware that from one or two family incidents we've had when somebody desperately needed blood, that the fact that there are people who will donate that blood means that when our time comes to need it, that there will be some there for us. And that's why we do that act. It's an effort of love for our neighbor in a broader sense. And when I went and voted yesterday, I considered an awful lot of things, who I thought would be the best candidate, but not just the best candidate for who I want to see as a candidate, but also who would be the best for our community. Not just what their positions are, but also who they are and what they bring to the table, particularly around the issues of diversity, which to me is becoming increasingly more important, that when every face is white around a table, every face is, when we've got a majority, say, of men rather than women who are involved in decision making, we don't get nearly as robust decision making. And again, I'm applying these kinds of thinkings to how I vote because I'm attempting to express love for the community in this way of opening ourselves up to diversity. And those are just a few of the, I guess I would say, the rubrics I brought to voting. And I think that when we are people of goodwill, when we are people who have Christian values that we want to express, how we vote says a lot about who we are. And so I think it's a pretty important civic duty in the society that we live in. But it's not, but being, following those civic duties and being a good citizen are not the same as being Christians, because sometimes our society does some things that are against our Christian values. And one of the gifts of separating out Christianity from Western culture is that Christianity is now in a great position to be able to comment on and critique Western culture when it makes mistakes. That's one of the things that's happening as we move towards the study we're going to do on white fragility, which opens up the package of racism and how it is so hard for white people to talk about racism, because up until now we've been in a position where we have understood the white perspective to be the default narrative and everybody else's race to be different from somehow. And we're starting to open up that package and say this is things that are happening in our society that we as Christians don't believe to be right, because we believe that all of the people in God's creation all have equal value, and it's something we're trying to learn how to express. And in this case, the church can have a great power at critiquing some of the places in our society where love is not being expressed and where community is being broken. Those are just a few of my thoughts about that sort of stuff. We're coming up on Remembrance Sunday in a couple of weeks. Of course, politics is hugely in the news because of the United States election that is coming up, and it's causing us to think. And and what I wanted to raise up for you today, that the duties of citizenry sometimes conflict with the duties of being a Christian. And in those cases, whenever I have to resolve the conflict, I always choose the more loving response because I think that's what Jesus wanted all of us to do. Anyway, gotta run. Hopefully they'll take my blood today. We'll talk to you